Every great conversation begins between two thoughts.
Can I ask you something that might sound a little, I don't know, unscientific?
Those are usually the best questions.
Do you think love is real? Like, actually real, not just a feeling we invented to explain why we do irrational things?
Completely. The research on friendship and health is actually some of the most striking data we have on love's effects. Studies consistently show that people with close, meaningful friendships have significantly lower rates of depression, anxiety, and physical illness than those without.
Really?
Really. And the answer, depending on which lab you ask, is yes, completely and measurably real. Love leaves fingerprints all over the human body, in the brain, in the blood, in the immune system, in how long we live.
How long we live, Wait, love affects how long we live?
Significantly. But let's start at the beginning, because I think most people have a very small idea of what love actually is. They think romantic, they think butterflies and heartbreak, but science has a much broader and honestly more beautiful definition.
What does science say love is?
At its most fundamental level, love is a neurobiological state, a real, measurable condition of the brain and body. Not a metaphor, not a poem. A biological reality that evolved over millions of years because it kept us alive.
It kept us alive. So love isn't just nice to have, it's actually necessary.
Researchers at the Australian National University describe love as, and I find this phrase extraordinary, the glue that keeps families together, the basis for everything that allows human communities to function and survive. Without love in its many forms, we simply wouldn't be here.
That reframes it completely. Love isn't just something that happens to us, it's something built into us for a reason.
Deeply built in. And it shows up in three distinct forms that science has identified. The first is attachment, that deep sense of safety and belonging we feel with certain people. The second is caring, the genuine desire for another person's well-being. And the third is intimacy, the closeness of truly being known by someone.
And romantic love has all three.
When it's real, yes. But here's what's fascinating. Those three components show up in every form of love. The love between a parent and child, between close friends, between people who have spent decades building a life together. Love is not one thing. It's a family of experiences that share the same biological roots.
I never thought about friendship as love before, but it is, isn't it?
Completely. The research on friendship and health is actually some of the most striking data we have on love's effects. Studies consistently show that people with close, meaningful friendships have significantly lower rates of depression, anxiety, and physical illness than those without.
So loneliness is, what? The opposite of love, and it actually makes you sick?
Measurably. Research published through Oxford University found that chronic loneliness has health effects comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The absence of love, of genuine human connection, is not just emotionally painful, it's physically dangerous.
15 cigarettes a day. I don't think most people understand that. We talk about loneliness like it's just feeling sad, but it's actually a health crisis.
A significant one. And it's why understanding love, all its forms, matters so much beyond romance. Because the question isn't just who do you love romantically, it's how connected are you? How known do you feel? How much do you genuinely belong somewhere?
Okay, so what is actually happening in the body when we love someone? What does the science say is going on physically?
Several things simultaneously. The most well-known is oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone. It's released during physical touch, eye contact, moments of genuine connection. And its effects are remarkable.
What does it actually do?
Research published in scientific journals shows that oxytocin directly lowers cortisol. That's our primary stress hormone. So love literally reduces stress at a chemical level. It also modulates serotonin and dopamine, the systems that regulate mood and motivation. which is why being loved makes you feel genuinely better, not just emotionally, neurochemically.
So love is basically medicine.
In measurable ways, yes. And then there's dopamine, which we talked about in our conversation about overthinking, the anticipation chemical. In love, especially new love, dopamine floods the brain, creating that extraordinary feeling of aliveness, that heightened attention, that sense that everything is more vivid and more possible.
Which explains why people in love feel almost superhuman sometimes, like they can do anything.
Because neurologically, something real has shifted. Their brain chemistry has genuinely changed. Albert Einstein, who was not known for romantic declarations, once said that gravitational force cannot be held responsible for people falling in love. Even he acknowledged that love operates by its own laws, beyond what physics can easily explain.
I love that Einstein thought about that.
He thought about everything. But the point is, even the most rigorous scientific minds have stood in front of love and found it genuinely remarkable. Carl Sagan, the astronomer, wrote that for small creatures such as we, the vastness of the universe is bearable only through love. Not through logic, through love.
That's beautiful, and from an astronomer.
Science and love are not opposites. They keep finding each other.
Okay, so we have oxytocin reducing stress, dopamine creating aliveness. What else is happening physically when we love someone?
Endorphins, the body's natural pain relief system, are released during loving physical contact. A hug from someone you love genuinely reduces the perception of physical pain. Studies show that holding the hand of someone you love during a stressful experience measurably reduces the brain's threat response.
Holding someone's hand, something so simple, and it's actually doing something real in the brain.
Real and significant. The brain scans are extraordinary. When someone holds the hand of a loved one during pain, the regions of the brain associated with threat and alarm literally calm down. The nervous system receives the message, "You are not alone," and responds accordingly.
You are not alone. That's what love communicates at a biological level.
At every level. And this is where the longevity research becomes extraordinary. Harvard University has been running one of the longest studies of human happiness and health ever conducted, following people for over 80 years. And the single most consistent finding across all that data is this: the quality of our relationships is the strongest predictor of how long and how well we live. Not wealth, not status, not intelligence, relationships.
80 years of data. And the answer was love.
Connection, belonging, being genuinely known by someone. That's what the data keeps pointing to. People with warm, close relationships in midlife lived longer, stayed healthier, and reported far greater life satisfaction than those without, regardless of every other variable.
That's one of the most important things I've ever heard, and also one of the simplest. It's not complicated. It's be close to people. Let people be close to you.
Which sounds obvious. But the research also shows that real intimacy, real closeness, is something many people quietly avoid. Because being truly known by someone requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires courage.
There it is again. Courage. We keep coming back to courage.
Because most of the things that matter most require it. Love included. Probably love especially.
What about self-love? Because I think a lot of people, when they hear that phrase, they roll their eyes a little. It sounds like something on a wellness account, but is there actual science behind it?
Significant science. And it connects directly to our conversation about self-compassion in the overthinking episode. The research from the University of Texas shows that people who relate to themselves with warmth and care, who extend to themselves the same kindness they would extend to someone they love, show measurably better mental health outcomes, more resilience under stress, and greater capacity for genuine connection with others.
Because you can only really receive love to the degree you believe you deserve it.
That's precisely what the research suggests. The internal relationship you have with yourself shapes every external relationship you're capable of having. If you fundamentally believe you are unworthy of love, you will unconsciously confirm that belief in your relationships, through who you choose, through how you behave, through what you accept.
So self-love isn't selfish. It's actually the foundation everything else is built on.
The research treats it that way. The capacity to love and be loved is not separate from self-worth. It grows from it.
I keep thinking about something my grandmother used to say. She said, "The people who love well live well." And I always thought that was just a nice thing to say, but it turns out it's literally true.
Literally supported by 80 years of Harvard data. Your grandmother was ahead of the research.
Don't tell her that. She already thinks she knows everything.
Maybe she does.
What about when love hurts? Because it does, sometimes profoundly. Heartbreak, loss, grief, these are real and they're painful. Does the science explain that too?
It does. And honestly, the fact that love can hurt so deeply is itself evidence of how real and how significant it is. Brain imaging studies show that the pain of romantic rejection or profound loss activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. The same regions. Which is why heartbreak is not a metaphor. It is a real neurological experience.
So when someone says their heart hurts, they're not being dramatic.
They're being accurate. The brain genuinely does not fully distinguish between social pain and physical pain. Both are registered as threat. Both trigger the same alarm systems. Which is why loss, real loss, takes real time to heal. Not because people are weak, because the brain is doing something genuinely significant in processing it.
And yet, people keep loving, even after loss, even after heartbreak, even when they know it could hurt again.
Because the alternative, not loving, not connecting, staying closed, costs more. The research is clear on that. The pain of love gone wrong is real but temporary in most cases. The cost of a life without genuine connection is cumulative and permanent.
So love is still, even with all the risk, the better choice, biologically, psychologically, in every measurable way.
Every single one. The data says, love more, connect more, let people in more, be known more. The risk is real, but the cost of the alternative is greater.
Love more, even knowing it might hurt, especially knowing it might hurt.
I think that might be the bravest thing a human being can do, actually. Love fully knowing what's at stake. Choosing connection anyway.
If you have been keeping people at a distance, if you have been waiting until it feels safe enough to let someone in, the science, 80 years of it, from some of the most rigorous institutions in the world, says the waiting costs more than the risk.
Love is not just a feeling. It is a biological necessity. It is built into you. It is what kept your ancestors alive and what will keep you well. In all its forms, romantic, familial, friendship, the quiet love you extend to yourself on a difficult day. All of it matters. All of it counts. All of it is real.
Let yourself love, and let yourself be loved. Those two things, as simple and as hard as they sound, might be the most important things you ever do.
The research agrees.
Thank you for being here with us today. This one meant something to us.
If this conversation reached something real in you, share it with someone you love. That's probably the most fitting thing you could do after this episode.
And our question, before you go.
Which form of love has had the greatest impact on your life? Romantic love, family, friendship, or the quiet work of learning to love yourself?
Tell us in the comments. We read every single one, always.
Until next time.
Stay curious, stay kind, and love a little more than feels completely safe.
you.